Anna, good evening to you. Good to see you here.
Good evening,
There.
Joe.
Well, good evening. Okay. Just sparking things up over on YouTube. That should be happening soon. And we'll start the Dream Team session tonight, which is a historic one, of course. What an evening. What 48 hours this has been. And in our last webinar, talking to Duarte about the NHR and taxation in Portugal, he shared with us the information that's come from the president's speech this evening that took place about an hour ago. And I'm sure Gilda will pick up on that as well this evening. So we are going out on YouTube. Let me just make Astrid co-host so she can help me behind the scenes as well. Cheers, Astrid, for that. So yes, let's go straight to the Queen of the Visas then, and get your view tonight. Big news, Gilda, right? The Prime Minister resigned yesterday afternoon. The President spoke this evening. What's going to be happening, and how do you see it?
Well, it was a shock what happened, and you were just joking, but you were not very far away from the truth, because I was in the parliament when the
Really?
prime minister resigned.
Oh,
I just
okay.
didn't realize what was happening. I see everybody was running, everybody was in a rush, and I was like, what is happening? And then the president of the parliament, he was talking, because I was there attending a special occasion, and then something is wrong, and they were supposed to be the other leaders of the parliament, but of the other parties, but they weren't there, and I was like, something is going wrong, but I didn't quite understand. And then
Wow.
when I arrived to the office, I understood that the prime minister was in trouble, and that the police was in the parliament, making the search.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
was like, I was in the middle of a hurricane. I didn't understand.
Incredible. So part of the history of Portugal yesterday, then.
Yeah, 2 days
Right.
ago.
Okay. And then presumably you've been watching television this evening and you've seen Marcelo, the president of Portugal, announcing the dissolution of parliament. What do you make of that? And is there anything else you can tell us?
Well, it was one of the options. Yes, I was expecting that, but he could not. He could. One of the options was not to choose to keep the budget, and to choose that the new government would approve the budget, or to keep the budget. He chose to keep the budget for two reasons. One, to give the people some stability, and the other, it's because he didn't want to lose the extra bonus that the European Union was going to give us.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So he's bringing some stability.
Yes.
Okay. All right. In stormy seas. Incredible. Okay. So if you want to ask Gilda, and of course, yes, the Prime
Of
Minister.
course, that for our community, the
Yeah.
worst news is that the NHR is coming to an end.
Yes. Yeah, of course. So that's what was confirmed by Duarte in the last session that we did. Let's reiterate that here. And we've got Square Eyes asking NHR2. No. It's not going to be rising like a phoenix from the ashes or have an extension. The fear that everybody had that it would be ending this year on the 31st of December is actually a reality now, despite the resignation. And as you say, Anna, he resigned on. I've lost a day in all this excitement, but yeah, he resigned a couple of days ago. It was Tuesday, wasn't it? And we've been anticipating what was going to happen, and the president has spoken this evening. So yeah, NHR is as expected or as projected over the end of this year officially, right, Gilda?
Yes, what we've been doing and what we are doing at the office right now is that we are trying to squeeze as many people as we can to become residents until the end of the year, and then to apply to the NHR until the end of March.
Okay. Yes, we had a very interesting question, actually. Kushal, I think, is with us and asked the question in the last session about some migration consultants, lawyers mainly, are promising people for huge sums of money that they can speed up their process and get them in to the country, presumably for their visa and for the NHR process. We were all very suspicious of this. What's your view on that, of these perhaps unscrupulous people who are offering to make promises for large amounts of money at the moment, Gilda?
It depends if they are doable or they are not doable, if they are legal or if they are not legal.
How does one check if that's the case as a foreigner and with no prior knowledge of the situation here?
Okay, first of all, they need to check if there is a visa situation, and if that visa is going to be a regular visa. It's not going to be any like payment for how do you call how do you call it? Suborno, Mariana. How do you call it?
Bribe.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Right. Okay. And therefore completely illegal.
Yes, because there are many people that now are taking advantage of this situation. So you must make sure that it's not one of that cases. And there can be a legal solution that is a process that can be applied in Portugal, but therefore the person needs to come to Portugal to make that kind of application, but it needs to have the legal requirements.
Okay, so it can be done technically, but
Yes.
be wary, be careful of illegal schemes and promises that sound too good to be true, because they probably are. Thank you for your follow up on that, Square Eyes. We'll come.
And of course, we don't have much time now,
right.
so must be aware of the risks and aware of the promises.
All right, thank you, Gilda, for that. We're going to come to Camilla from Winsurance, who's got something to say about the SNS situation. We've also got Steve from Spartan with us, who we'll say hello to, but not until you've introduced your team members and colleagues here this evening, Gilda.
We have Mariana Henriques from the Visa Department.
Hi, everyone.
Good to see you again.
Very happy to be here this week again.
We have Carolina Muralha from Casa Portuguesa.
Good
evening,
Carolina.
everyone.
Hi there.
Carol.
How are you? How are you?
Fine, and you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Well, I'm actually exhausted. I've been watching the news very closely, and also enjoying my life like a Portuguese man, eating and drinking lots as well. I've had a very busy 7 days, and now all of this in the news. So I'm quite exhausted, but fascinated as well with the whole excitement of what's going on here in Portugal. It's not something I've experienced before quite like this over here. Thank you for being here. Anyone else from your team?
Yes, and we have Sara Santos from the Visa and Tax Department.
From the tax department. Okay, the tax department of migrants rather than the tax department of the government.
Yes.
So helpful from that point of view.
She's like helping with the NIFs and the changing of address and all that. Also Mariana, because we now had to do a task force for the NHR. So we are 5 working on that task force because there are lots of processes that we need to do before the end of the year.
The atmosphere, just when you thought the atmosphere couldn't get more exciting in the A offices, it has, hasn't it? I mean, it seems to ratchet up another level of excitement and hard work.
You know, I just got to a point that it doesn't affect me anymore.
Wow. Okay. A superhero in the world of visas there, and all of your team in support, of course, as well. So thank you for being here, the 4 of you. Let's go to Camilla now. Thank you, everybody, for getting your questions into the chat and your observations. We will get to those. Camilla, good evening to you from Winsurance. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good. Good evening, everyone. So let's start the night with some news from insurance. This week, We have some official news from Caldas da Rainha that notes that 27% of the residents in Caldas da Rainha doesn't have a family doctor.
Right.
Yeah. This means additional
You
pressure.
need a tiny diaper?
Oh, Susie,
Family.
Susie, if you wouldn't mind muting up, if somebody could get Susie the diaper that she's asking for, that would be great. And let's go back to Camilla.
Yeah. So this means that additional pressure on the private system and higher usage of private health insurance and insurance premiums increase. Yeah, for instance, and even being preliminary, it seems that Allianz is preparing to raise health insurance rates by 60% for some groups of ages.
Okay.
And our expectation is an average rate increment up to 20% of the rates.
Okay.
This is the news about insurance this week.
Okay, so adding to the drama of the situation, I guess,
Yeah.
of recent weeks and months, we can anticipate, and I think, you know, anyone who's had their eyes open to what's going on in the world would have anticipated some rises in demand on the health system and also demand on health insurance companies, and therefore an increase in premiums. So you're going to keep us on top of this, though, as each week goes by. I really appreciate this, Camilla. This is basically the news report from the front line of insurance and from health, as far as you know it as well, and giving us the information about, you know, how people get their SNSs, parts of the country where it's easier or less easy to get a family doctor. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Anything else from you this evening?
I have my colleague Sandra here, and she is working behind the scenes.
Perfect. Thank you to the pair of you from
Thank you,
Insurance.
Sandra.
Any questions at all about insurance and health here in Portugal, you can ask Insurance, Sandra and Camilla. Thank you for being here tonight. Steve, are you there? And have you heard about the news from Portugal? And is it affecting the euro yet?
No, it doesn't seem to be. It's been, if anything, it's been some dollar strength rather than any weakness coming out of the news from Portugal. So we saw sort of dollar get a bit stronger today, which was good for most of the listeners. It's back about 0.5% for them today, which was good. So, but yeah, it hasn't had a massive effect, which I thought it might have a bit, but it doesn't seem to have. It's been more dollar strength than weakness from the euro.
So presumably, if it was still the what was it called, the escudo, and if Portugal had its own currency, it might have been a little bit more volatile given what's going on. But it's held within the general euro scene, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah, I mean, you normally it needs to be done like a bigger event as such, more for the whole of Europe rather than just one country. So you do feel like you get a bit more out of, say, Germany and things like that. When it comes to just for this, it doesn't seem to have had an effect. But like you say, if it had been the old Portuguese currency, that would have definitely had an effect. I would have thought so.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
For my time, that for my Carl. So
yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Me too. I hasten to add. I've just heard, my granddad told me. My granddad told me about the escudo. So, and Anna's saying, yeah, we're not Germany, we're small, so unlikely for there to be a big impact on the strength or not of the euro there. So, thank you very much. Anything else to say about exchange rates? Any other countries?
So we've got some information coming out of the UK tomorrow with GDP, so that we could see some strength for depending on which way the results come out. We could see that the euro and the sterling euro have a bit of fluctuation in the morning. Yeah. But other than that, we've seen, like I say, it's still gone a bit better for dollar sellers. So still a very good time to be taking advantage of where the market is.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Steve, for the time being. Any questions at all about currency, about buying euros? Steve, our man, Steve from Spartan FX is here this evening. Thank you for being here, Derek and Linda in Lagos as well this evening, and Susie, San Francisco. Laura's asking, hi, everyone. So now the OE24 has chances to be approved as presented by Minister Costa. I don't know what that means, actually, Gilda. What is the OE 2024? Is that the budget? I think it's the budget. Okay, so yes, and all the indications are it's likely to be approved, and that will help with the stability that the president is trying to bring to the situation here. David is saying, Marianne, Gilda, Marianne and Sarah have been fabulous. There you go, some great feedback. Had my VFS on November the 1st. I've sent you an email to look at the possibility of getting residency pre-31st of December. If anyone can, they can. And when you fly into Portugal, thank you from David, and thanks for that feedback from Mariana there. Here's a really interesting point. This is what Square Eyes was getting to with NHR2. If there's going to be an election, who's to say who will win? And therefore, could the NHR be revived or brought back as a political tool, Gilda? What do you think?
Well, if that is a possibility, it will take time.
Okay, all right. So with the first NHR, for example, if we cast our minds back to that, it's a fairly recent development, isn't it, in Portuguese, the Portuguese political economy, if you like. How long were people talking about it, and then how long did it take to bring into actual, legislation and as a reality? Do you remember?
No, I don't know, because it started in 2009.
Okay.
And I don't know how long did it took for them to approve it.
But we can assume, can't we, that there's going to be, if it were ever to come back, there will be a long, protracted process and much political discussion
at least 2 to 3 years.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. Your comments on that. Get the question. There does seem to be a general sort of stunned silence about what's been going on, and obviously the disappointment for people with the NHR. The confirmation basically that it's going to be over by the end of the year. But get your questions in nonetheless. We have a great panel here. We can talk about insurance and currency and visas, of course, as well this evening. So if there's anything you want to know about those subject areas or moving to Portugal generally, do get those questions and observations into the chat. And the same over on members of YouTube can ask questions as well if you're watching over there on YouTube. Another testimonial for Gilda, aka Gigi, which I've never heard before.
Neither do I.
Okay, I've just had to send you a big obrigado with a sprinkle of confetti from Anna. I managed to grab that tricky D7 visa and officially became part of the Portugal fan club, the PFC. Well done, Anna. You're like the fairy godmother, Gilda. So not just a superhero, you're a fairy godmother of the baby D7 visa, and your wisdom and inspiration were like a magic wand in my decision to move to Portugal. When people ask who influenced me to make this move, I joyfully say, well, it's all because of my Gigi and her visa magic. You can't ask for a better testimonial than that. Cheers to you, says Anna. The true mastermind behind my Portuguese escapade. You're a legend. With love and pastéis de nata. That's pretty good.
Who is Anna?
I don't know. She might reveal herself to you in a direct message. Okay.
Please send me a message. I want to know who you are.
You're intrigued now, aren't you, Gigi? Tax question. If my wife is able to get NHR, but I will not obtain it in time, does it help in any way with our taxes? Okay. So if only one person in the partnership has the NHR, does it help in any way with the collective taxes, Gilda?
Yes, because you are able to fill them separately. So it will benefit your wife.
All right.
And then if you have a good tax planner, you can move your things around.
Okay, to minimize the liability. Yeah, okay. So there you go, Alex. I hope that you go on to say, i.e., would it only affect her earning even if we file tax?
Or you can always send us an email and we can see the situation if we can do anything for you.
Brilliant. Not. Okay, and you can see the email on the screen there, geral@amigrant.pt. Is there any update on processing times at the San Francisco consulate? Sarah, would you like to unmute and voice this as well for the benefit of others as well, the answer you gave to, I'm assuming this is the device they're using rather than the person themselves, old computer. So, Sarah, what was your response to that?
Excuse me, I didn't understand the first part. Can you repeat?
Is there any update on processing times at the San Francisco consulate?
At this moment, the information that we have is that it's 60 business days, so 2 to 3 months.
All right, and no particular information about San Francisco from your...
Not at this moment.
All right, thank you very much. The OE, thanks, Sarah. The Orçamento do Estado 24 Tom Smith, thank you for your emoji. I'm assuming it wasn't aimed at me. So you say sorry, meant to
No,
delete this.
I was afraid it was to me because after that comment, then I saw that emoji.
Yes.
I thought like they are telling this to Gilda, but she sucks. And
Yes, right. Tom Smith, explain yourself. The last
Yeah.
I saw, the PS
I
center
feel
left.
that I need an explanation
We
for
do.
that.
Yeah, now you've committed the emoji to the screen. Let's have a bit of backstory on that, please, Tom Smith, and keep it clean. The last I saw, the PS, the centre left, and the PSD centre right were tied in the polls, but that was before everything went crazy this week. I think that's what the emoji is about, the craziness this week. Okay, glad you didn't delete, as it's appropriate, says Laurie, to you as well. What is the email? The email is Geral, Geral, at EIMIGRANTE.pt, and we'll pop that in. I think Gilda's putting it into the chat now, so you can cut and paste it, Alex. Square Eyes, I'm not at all surprised, says Square Eyes. The people of Portugal hate the NHR. Hold on a minute. Sorry, a sudden influx of messages there. Okay, the people of Portugal hate the NHR, hate it, but the tax income that comes to Portugal is very considerable. I worry what will happen when the new arrivals don't come. Well, we don't know that for sure, do we? I don't know if they all hate it, and we don't know what the impact will be. But I take your point, Square Eyes, for sure. Have you got a view on that, Gilda?
No, not all. What happens? It's that the Portuguese people, like the qualified people, the medium high class people, understand that the NHR program is very good for Portugal because it attracts income and development for the country. What happened was that with the crisis of the housing crisis, people started to say that it was the foreigners' fault, and they associated there with the NHR program, which is not true.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, the government said we are going to end with the NHR program.
Yeah.
Which is not smart because they lose the money and we still have the crisis, the housing crisis. So we kind of lose everything.
Okay, thank you.
We lose the income.
Yep.
And we still have the problem.
Yes, indeed. And Square Eyes, I do understand the sentiments you're expressing. But yeah, keep your chin up. My attorney says Laurie is attempting to get me tax residency status based on my 2-year lease, which started October the 1st. My VFS appointment was October the 4th, but my expected arrival date is January the 7th. Any idea as to my chances of getting tax residency status?
Yeah, he can try to change your address with your lease agreement. That will depend where and how he is going to try to do that.
Okay, all right.
But yes, that is one chance.
There you go, Laurie. And Mountain Girl, would you know the processing of D7 visas at the Washington, D.C. consulate? Technically, as Sarah said, up to 60 business days. Is there any news from, on the ground from as far as the times go with Washington, D.C. at the moment? Any feedback specifically?
Not yet. The only news that we have right now is that there's two new centers, which are in VFS Miami, the VFS Miami one and VFS Houston. And we'll having the first clients there next week. So let's see how things go. But that's the only update regarding the processing time. It's just up to 60 business days. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, in all this excitement and drama politically, I didn't ask you about, isn't that funny? Every week for the last, I don't know, 2 years, how's it going at CEF? How CEF getting extinguished? How's it doing at IMA in the last couple of weeks? Do we have any news from the front line and how that's going, Gilda, generally speaking, with IMA in their new role?
It's a disaster.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know how much more bad news I could take tonight. Can you elaborate a bit on that? Give me some facts.
Okay, so they said we are going to open for renewals appointment.
Yeah.
After such a long time, they open for renewals. And then suddenly, okay, you have renewals for next week. People got so excited after waiting for such a long time.
Yeah.
They got renewals for next week. We make all the arrangements. We booked, we sent the checklists. Everyone was running at the office, blah, 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 blah. And then we start getting these emails that the appointments were going to be rescheduled. So it's like the clients got an emotion and then they went, like down.
Roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just got this news that they were not ready yet, like 3 years were not enough. And they were not ready yet. So they needed at least 1 month. So maybe in December, they will start doing renewal appointments.
Okay, and you mentioned some numbers there, Gilda. I mean, these numbers have been going around social media, haven't they, about the hundreds of thousands of cases that need to be processed, the amount of years it's going to take to catch up. Those numbers haven't come from the government, have they? Are these like whispers that have got out of hand, do you think, in social media?
Well, I think that these numbers come from CEF.
Okay, so they have published their own numbers, have they? And can you? Is it possible for your team to?
What they do is that they when they come to the media, they kind of mix everything.
Right, and people and this is what we talked about last week, wasn't it? When people are on a D7, they assume that numbers relate only to D7s, and then somebody else. Yeah, so not all visas are the same, and there is a problem, isn't there, with the communication of this data? Of course, there's a waiting list. That's not a surprise, is it? But we can't assume the actual the composition of that waiting list might not be as people imagine it to be.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. So, but you'll keep us up to date on that. Great news is,
but it was. Can you imagine? We were doing like appointments like crazy.
Yeah.
And telling the clients, and everyone was so happy that they could go and renew and finally go home. Some people, like for Thanksgiving or to see the family or that. And then, oh no, I'm sorry, it's going to be rescheduled.
Which means more work for everybody, doesn't it? And disappointment as well. So a bit of a shot in the foot there and a disaster as I think you described it. But given that is the situation, and it's the same for everyone, I think, who's coming into the country and facing these issues or wanting to migrate here, you're still in safe hands because EI eat these sorts of problems for breakfast, and I'm sure we'll continue to do so alongside their coffee and pastéis de nata.
Yes, that's why I say nothing surprises me. So no matter amazing. What, it's
the energy of you four tonight is incredible, considering what's going on in the country and the amount of the workload that you're facing. So thank you for that. EIA helps me throughout my entire D7. I think there's another testimonial coming in here from Shiva. They helped me throughout my entire D7 visa process and advised it would take 3 months for approval. However, I had my CEF VFS appointment on September 12th, and the CEF consulate approved my D7 visa on October the 19th. So a little bit of a bit of luck there, as Mariana is saying. Amazing, well done. Sometimes it can happen, very rarely though, as a little bit of a caveat there for Shiva on that information there. Thank you for that. Not Gilda. Okay, so clarification. Alex is saying thank you. Laurie is saying not Gilda. The poop icon was a comment on the NHR, so that's good.
Thank you.
And Tom is issuing a public apology. Sorry about the emoji. I was trying to type the last comment you read from me and insert the emoji, but it went pear-shaped. Yes, not just pear-shaped. I was trying to show the poop hitting the fan, a common expression in the United States to know when something goes wrong. Okay. Yeah, I think people do need to let off a bit of steam tonight, don't they, with this news? So feel free. Go on, Gilda.
I want to make a request. If you make these wonderful testimonials here, you can also drop them on Google, on our Google.
Please do that. Well, maybe while you're watching tonight, and send a link. If you want to do that, actually, that's good. Why not send the receipt, as it were? Send us the link of your excellent
I don't know how
testimonial.
to do that. I'm very
Not
bad.
you, Shilda. You're not allowed to write yourself a testimonial. I'm sure it'll be brilliant. But for anyone who does do that tonight, send us the link for that. And or if anyone is there and they can make that easy for us to go over to Google. Multitasking, don't leave the webinar. Do that as a multitasking thing. And then once
No, we don't. I don't need you to advertise for that.
Okay, all right. It's too late. I've done it.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you, Jay. I look good. You know, I try to make an effort now because I've been told that when I come to these webinars, I don't look as good as I look in the office. So now I make an effort. Thank you.
What? So like me, you're spending an hour in hair and makeup before the webinars. Yeah, okay, I'd recommend it. Yeah, Jay, and possibly Jackie, Gilda, you look great. Yes, we appreciate the love. Aha, says Mariana as well. So yeah, it means a lot if you go over to Google and also to Expats Portugal, of course, and write a testimonial and give us a star rating over there. Laura's saying a friend had a NIF in May, bought a house in August, went to Finanzas to change the address, and they did not, as they said, the house contract is not as a primary residence. But she was not a renter somewhere in Portugal. Will the atestado de residencia from the Junta de Freguesia help her change from US to Portuguese address on the house she bought? That sounds like an awkward situation to be in, Gilda.
It can help,
Right.
but again, these things will depend on the attendee that will receive you on the tax office.
Okay.
Most of them will ask you for a visa, a residency permit, or a self-appointment.
Okay. All right. So it can depend, but you can assert yourself, can you? And explain to the person.
Yeah, you can go like, da, 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 da. I'm waiting. There are no appointments.
Okay. All right. There's some advice for you there. Allegra. And let's go back to Camilla for this. There was mention of it before. Allianz health insurance going up by 60%. Shocking. This point on Medicare. My medical benefits are better in the US. Camilla, you're hearing a little bit about this, about how some companies are going up quite dramatically. I hope at Insurance you're managing the situation in which they're not going up quite as dramatically as this.
Yeah, we have been hearing from the clients, some clients, or friends, everything, that Allianz announced some increase about 60% in some rates. It's not for everybody, but some group of apes. We expected for an increase for all the insurer, but what is important here is to choose the best company and to be aware about the wordings, and this you can be safe if you read the wordings and have some support to understand how it works here. We work with non-profit insurer companies, so they not have this kind of increase. We have good options for this. Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that. And of course, you're a broker and you'll be looking for the best deals rather than being tied into one particular company. So that's going to help. Allegra, thank you for that. And that is a shocker, isn't it? 60% on premiums. What with everything else as well. As Ben is saying, a lot of bad news all at once. Craziness. Allegra, did you want to add something?
Yes, I spoke to Miguel from Medal today, and he said to me that the reason that Allianz is going up so much is that so far they were the cheapest of all. I'm just repeating.
Okay.
And so they're trying to keep up with all the other ones. But I mean, 60%, I mean, it's going to, it's crazy.
It is. Yeah.
And I understand. And apparently they're not going to make too many exceptions. I mean, there isn't going to be much change. I think what this lady just said isn't what I heard from Allianz.
Okay, well, the advice, therefore, to reiterate, is get in touch with Insurance and find out what you're up against with that. And thank you, Allegra, for bringing that to our attention. And to Ben, now I totally get this, Ben. A lot of bad news all at once. You know, we have had quite a run of plot twists, Portuguese plot twists and difficulties. You know, this week certainly like a climax or high point of these difficulties that people wanting to move to the country can face. Now, as Gilda said before, there are the emotional reactions of people. People are trying to manage this process from afar, aren't they? And they'll hear this news and they'll take it very badly and personally and emotionally, as you would expect. What I would suggest is, if you are shocked, if you are upset, saddened by some of the developments, get in touch with the pros. Don't stew alone with it. Reach out to the companies you're working with, reach out to the professionals and seek reassurance. I totally get it, Ben. You know, this is craziness, as you say. It could seem like that from your point of view, a long way from the country that you want to move to. But my suggestion, would you agree with this, Gilda, is to reach out and get reassurance from the professionals involved?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, because now we are in a very gray area, and you will always need to have a clarification and a professional help.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. Mountain Girl, I spoke with the Assistant Consul General in Miami via email 2 days ago, and she said that they will not be processing applications or making appointments, and yet VFS Global still has that up on their website. Mountain Girl can probably believe the Assistant Consul General, can't they? That'll be for you, Gilda. Shall I read that out again? I spoke with the Assistant Consul General in Miami, this is Mountain Girl, via email 2 days ago, and she said that they will not be processing applications or making appointments. So this, the VFS Global still has that up on their website. Who to believe in this situation? The Assistant Consul General in Miami, or VFS Global and the information they've got up on their website?
The reliable will be the assistance from the consulate.
That would be my guess.
What would you say, Sarah?
No, I will say that if VFS is accepting, then I think that's the important point. But I will ask Gilda's opinion.
Yeah, I think we're going to go with the Assistant Consul General there. If you want to add to that, Mountain Girl, do let us know. Give us a bit more context on that one. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Gilda, on that. Question for Steve. Let's go to Steve over at Spartan FX from Taisa. I hope I pronounced you. We talked about this before, how to pronounce your name. Taisa, I've made a good enough go at it. Excellent, thank you. Question for Steve. Would you know which Portuguese banks are best in which to open an account, that are best to use with Spartan FX wires? My hubby is there in Porto and we'll open an account next week. So what'd you say, Steve Flack at Spartan FX?
Yeah, so quite a lot of our clients that we send funds to is normally Millennium, Santander and Novo Banco. They seem to be the main ones that we send to. It doesn't seem to have issues getting funds into there. So I would suggest the main big banks over in Portugal.
So quite a few to choose from there. I'd add Eurobic as a bank I like to use. I've got a Millennium Bank and I've got a Eurobic as well. You know, they have their limitations, but they're fairly good to work with, both of them, and they have their relative advantages and disadvantages. Gilda, would you agree? And how is it at the moment opening bank accounts for people?
Well, I still the same. I work now with Eurobic, and for British citizens, I work with Millennium with the London branch.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
London branch works well.
What do you make for people who don't know? Millennium have an online offering, don't they? That they're sort of marketing as the sort of the digital version. They're digital banking more so than the traditional style. What do you make of Ativo, their spin-off?
The Ativo, it's good when you are already in Portugal.
Okay, all right. But
when you need an assistant to open a bank account outside of Portugal or for the visa purpose, I don't advise it.
Okay, thank you very much, both Steve and Gilda on that. Back to you, Camilla. And James, good evening, James. Do you expect other private health insurers will also raise their rates that much? So we heard of that shocking 60%. You did mention this at the beginning of the call, Camilla, but if you could reiterate, because I think this will be quite comforting to people. You're anticipating possibly 20%?
Yeah, 20%. We expect it, not 60 for every insurer.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I hope that's reassuring for you there, James in Estoril. Gilda, you look great. Gilda, the hair is on point. Love it. I know you like that sort of big smile on your face there. And thank you, Mariana, for saying that. For feedback, you can Google us and add a review. Migrante Asesoria Migratoria as well. Laura, thanking you for the responses there as well. As Gilda said, says Mariana, they can ask for the residency permit or visa and SEF appointment and lease agreement / house purchase for your friend then, Laura. Was Costa nobbled due to the NHR and tax implications? I think it's a difficult one to answer, and you might need some explanation of what nobbled means, Gilda. But was Costa basically binned because of the NHR and the tax implications? That's what happens in the UK and our cousin countries, half joking, half serious. So do you think Costa's being pushed is related to his political performance with the housing crisis and with the NHR being threatened? Or is it more to do with these other allegations, do you think, that seem to be the main focus of why he's been or why he's resigned?
He resigned because of these allegations and because of his friends being involved in these corruption cases.
Allegedly, yes. Okay, as Tom says, it wasn't taxes, but apparently it's related to authorizations for a lithium mine.
Yes.
Thank you. Allegedly, we add a green hydrogen plant and a data center. TLDR, that is a good video, actually. There is a TLDR EU YouTube channel that has a good video about what happened in English. Talking about the roller coaster, Alex, there was an article today that the NHR cancellation is being postponed due to the resignation of the Prime Minister. I put it on the forum only to get a reply from the moderator that it is false. Sadly, Alex, you were there, weren't you, for I think for the webinar previously with Duarte? It's on the way out at the end of the year. Square Eyes, I'm totally bummed. For I think that's USA in brackets as a way of describing the condition that Square Eyes is in. Praying for an NHR2 and a 3 to 5 year time span on that. Hi, Camilla. My friend Isa is saying is moving to Portugal on a D7 visa in the next few weeks. Before how long should she contact you for the health insurance to have enough time to get the policy for the SEF appointment? Camilla, your help with insurance policies for the D7 process, please.
Yes, we do. So as soon as possible, if you can contact me, your friend can contact us, so we can start the process and we can schedule the starting date for the policy upfront. So it doesn't need to start, for example, next week. We can do it upfront. So,
all right, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Nice and busy over there at Winsurance as well at the moment. And we've got, hi, Camilla. Oh, that was that question I just asked you. Forgive me. The feedback from our clients since VFS Miami opened. Oh, do you want to say this yourself, Mariana? Tell us more about the feedback from Miami, please.
Yes, we've been having some clients trying to book slots for Miami that are from Florida, for instance. I have a couple trying to get an appointment there. And they are checking in daily and there's no slots available since it opened.
Okay,
that's their feedback, but sometimes of course it's up to clients to book their VFS appointments, but of course we check in every now and then to also know how slots are, but if we have any updates we'll let you know as well.
Superb. Thanks, Mariana, for that. And Tom suspects that Miami will take some pressure off Washington, D.C. and Houston. We'll take pressure off Washington, D.C. and Houston will take pressure off San Francisco, but only if people can get an appointment, of course. What about Credito Agricola Bank? Do you have a view on that, Mariana?
Yes, I answered La Ronda because I'm trying, because La Ronda talked with us to get a Portuguese bank account opened. And she was very interested in this particular bank, but since it's not our partner, we can't be sure that we can open an account with them, because for non-residents, it's very difficult and sometimes even impossible to open bank accounts in Portugal as non-residents. So I'm trying, I already reached out to them and I'm waiting for their feedback to see if it's possible.
Oh, great.
And I
work.
count having an answer by tomorrow, and
All right.
hopefully, let's see.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Alex, I missed the tax webinar today. Oh, sorry, Alex. I didn't realize that. The recording is already under the event on the forum. Wow. So that's quick work. We're not waiting on the tax webinar to release it, publish it on Sunday at 6 o'clock. We've gone with that straight away. We published it straight to YouTube and it's available to watch, I think now, basically. But don't go anywhere just yet. Is the CEF office in Lisbon still open to pick up residency cards? Has everything been transferred to the new department? My card was mailed in the summer, but I wasn't home and it went back to CEF. So you can still get into CEF and go and see them in Lisbon, can't you? Even with all the changes from CEF to IMA.
Yes, you can.
Okay, that's Randa asking that. I had a change of VFS appointments, says Laurie, and the calendar wasn't giving me any options. A friend who knows computers told me to try a different browser and it worked. Thanks, Laurie, for that. That's a nice little hack, isn't it? It's always worth trying with a different browser with all sorts of IT challenges. Thank you very much for that. Right, next week, I haven't asked you how Mandela's doing. It's been a bit of a rocky road with him recently. The good news for you and others, Gilda, is next week's webinar on Expats Portugal, the Portugal Calling webinar for November the 16th, will be pet care and animal welfare in Portugal. This is a long-awaited and look forward to webinar where you can connect with fellow pet owners. So we're asking you to bring your pets along next week. That's going to be fun. Animal enthusiasts. I wonder who's going to have the most exotic and interesting pet. We'll find out next Thursday. And our knowledgeable experts. As pet lovers or owners, we often worry about the well-being of our four-legged companions, and the concern deepens when venturing into unfamiliar territory, of course, when you're moving. So we'll have Rita Afonso, a registered veterinarian and pet relocation specialist at GIR, and people will be talking, I'm sure, from this side of the water as well, who've brought pets over, and they'll be able to tell you from the benefit of their own experience. Gilda, you might be watching. How is Mandela?
He's quiet tonight.
Okay, so his behavior, I think, has changed a little bit with the threat of having to go to doggy therapy with you.
Yes.
Right, okay. All right. Is there anything else we should know about that?
No.
Okay, all right. I think there might be, but you might not want to say right now.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I don't want to share.
Come back. Okay, come back. Maybe I can squeeze it out of you next Thursday for the webinar that's happening, pet care and animal welfare in Portugal. Allegra, continuing with the Allianz insurance situation. The way it was explained to me is that because Allianz was the cheapest of all insurances, it's increasing its cost to catch up with others. Okay, well, that's a kind of plausible explanation, but we shall see. It's not going to help people if it goes up from what they're currently paying, even if it is the cheapest. If it goes up a whopping 60%, that's not going to be very helpful to people. Thank you very much for that. Did we address the article about postponement of the NHR at the tax webinar? Yes, we did. Gilda, please, can you clarify? It's on the way out, isn't it, as planned, because of the way the president has dissolved the parliament and wants to bring the budget through. The NHR, let's confirm that, is over, isn't it, as of the 31st of December this year?
Yes.
Simple one word answer.
What article? There isn't any article. Is the budget?
Well, the article I think that's being referred to is a lot of speculation from newspapers, not Portuguese newspapers. I did see one myself.
I think you were talking about the article of the law.
Not a law article, but a web-based, I think, opinion piece, basically, saying that with the resignation, I mean, people were looking on the hopeful side, weren't they? Thinking the resignation of the Prime Minister might mean it would get knocked back. It is going. It's on the way out on the 30th.
That was a pure speculation.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
But that's why I didn't want to say anything. People asked me to give my opinion, and I say I'm not going to say anything before the president talks.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to waste my time based on speculations.
Yeah, and also you need to be careful when you enter the parliament, because look what happened last time you did that. Okay, it was a premature article written a day or two ago before the president's announcement today. Just an opinion piece, as Shiva is explaining to us. Okay, There is a sense tonight, I think, of shock with all that's gone on. We've had quite the build up, haven't we, over the last few months? And here we are this week where the PM has resigned and the president has spoken tonight. Go on, Gilda.
Where is Daniel dos Reis?
That's what I was wondering. I imagine he is. He might be lying down in a darkened room, and I hope we can speak to him soon.
He's at the parliament.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully he doesn't have the same Pereira effect on the machinery of government here in this country. Yeah, but he may well be, Anna. Okay, so president is not accepting resignation until after the budget. Laurie's got a great grasp of this. Thank you. With the NHR ending the budget, and that will be voted on and is likely to happen. The president will see to that. Connie. Gilda, I'm right on the edge of having a D7 in 2023. My application is just waiting for the Registrado for the lease, and then the Vancouver consulate will send for review. Ivana is doing everything in her power to make it happen by tomorrow, Friday. Marianne held my hand and calmed down my nervous ninny nerves during overnight review of application. I can't say enough good things about your fabulous teams at A and Casa Portuguesa. How about that? Wish me luck. It happens in 2023 for me. Muito obrigado from Connie and Square Eyes. Such bad news. It ain't cheap to pack up and move countries to spend the rest of your life paying tax there. And no, I'm not too cheap, Square Eyes. And, you know, that's an indication, I think. And Anna was speaking in a similar way, you know, of the sadness and disappointment people are feeling. And I want to reiterate, I think we'll close tonight by a word from each of the experts on the panel here, on the Dream Team panel, to help deal with this shock, this situation that we're in, you know, one after another, it seems, and quite the high point of challenge and difficulty this week. So if Gilda could speak on behalf of the A team, as in they are the A team, but the AEI team as well. Gilda, like I said before, it's really important that once people have got themselves in a bit of a state about this, understandably, and feel stressed about what's going on, reach out to the professionals. What else would you suggest to people to calm the nerves and deal with the news that's been coming out of Portugal today?
Well, if you need to be sure that you want a new start, and you want a new start in this country. If you are sure of that, we are here to help you. That's what we do.
Okay.
Even if we are under a huge amount of stress, as we are right now. But we are tough, we are resilient, and we are professional. We do our best. We are going to be calm for you. We are going to help you, and even if this is going to have an impact in your economical life, you need to see the balance between what you are going. If you are going to pay taxes, okay, you are going to pay taxes, but you are going to have security, you are going to have a good environment to raise your kids. So you need to balance things.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gilda, for that. Anna's suggestion is to drink wine. I mean, Portuguese people do that anyway.
Yes.
You might be talking about the volume there in this particular few days. Steve, let's go to you. What do you suggest to people who are feeling a bit jittery? How can you calm their nerves and support them?
I'm not really sure what I can do to calm their nerves, but if you're, if it's like Gilda said, if you are confident that you are going to move there, and this isn't going to, I know it's obviously a bit daunting and things like that, but if if it's something you still want to do, you definitely want to do, get in touch. We can help you with your currency. We can get all this outside of it. We know you're moving, large amounts of money. We want to make sure you're calm and it's easy. Just feel free to talk to us, and we can give an opinion and see if we can help. But if you are ready to do it, it's something you're still definitely going to do, feel free to get in touch. We can definitely help and help you take advantage of where the market is at the minute.
Brilliant. Thank you, Steve, for that. Camilla, same question to you. How can you help people at the moment who are understandably feeling a little bit jittery and stressed by some of the things they've been hearing and some of the developments here? I know you can help them. What else would you suggest to them?
I suggest to be informed, to have the good information with good professionals. I believe this is the way to keep calm and to move in peace.
All right, thank you, and your colleague Sandra for being here this evening. If I can mention the comment of Diana now. Denise is saying to you, Gilda, very important advice, Gilda, the voice of reason. Thank you. So more adoration and respect and compliments for you there. And a wonderful compliment, or not really a compliment, but a comment from Diana this evening, which I think applies to Portugal. And I say this as somebody who went to an amazing celebration last night of Portuguese wine and food. I went to an evening with a brand of wine called Covela, who are in the Vinho Verde region of Portugal. And last night, I think I tried 9 of their wines. And in among that drinking, yes, Gilda, I am drinking again, clearly. In among those 9 wines was a lychee ceviche, good old-fashioned vol au vents, nigiris. There was some sushi. There were endives with goat's cheese and walnuts and honey. We had fresh salmon. We had cod, bacalhau, with apricot chutney. And I know what you're going to say, Gilda. Why wasn't I invited? So I'm going to keep you muted. Black pork cheeks with forest cream, tenderloin steak with butternut rolls, and we finished with kumquat and pomegranate cheesecake and an espresso caramel. Look at her face, everybody. Now, the reason I mention that is not to boast. I'm telling you what's available here in this amazing country and to tie it in with what Diana's saying. A very wise financial advisor once told me that he had one word for his clients who complained because they were in the highest tax bracket. The word was congratulations. And that's my same word to you. If you're thinking about moving to Portugal, and if you're lucky enough to be in the same sort of situation I was in last night, having moved here myself, congratulations to you. I still have it down as a fantastic choice. A lucky me last night. Gilda, is that what you were going to say to me? Why wasn't I invited?
Yes, you never invite me to those things.
Next time.
You are having such a great social life.
Well,
I just see it on the media.
Right, okay. Yeah, and you don't seem entirely happy about it. Okay, I will work on better invitations to you and your colleagues there. It's all in your point of view, says James as well. It's a glass half empty or a glass half full of Superboc. Well put, says Laurie to James there. And I think it is at these times when we have to seek inspiration and be a little bit more philosophical, if you can say it. And of course, rely on the professionals. So I'll thank them again one more time this evening. Thank you very much, Gilda, for being here with your team. We have Mariana, Sarah, and Carolina with us tonight. Anna, thank you for your contributions. Thank you to Camilla and Sandra from Winsurance, and thank you to Steve Flack, who also gets fantastic testimonials at Spartan Effects. Do say hello to everybody from us to the office there, Steve, tomorrow. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm not sure if Jerry or Astrid would like to say a few more words about the upcoming webinar for next week. Perhaps not. Oh, yes, Jerry.
Well, yes, I'll leave that to Astrid. I would just like to add to Gilda's comments, which I think summarized the situation really, really well. There are so many benefits to coming to Portugal. I don't have NHR. I couldn't qualify. Carl, I don't think you got it either. Astrid,
Nope.
I don't think you've got it.
I don't have it.
That doesn't stop us. It certainly doesn't stop me. And I doubt either of you wanting to live out your lives here in Portugal. There are so many good things about this country. So don't be despondent because we've got to pay a little bit more tax. We could be in a lot worse situation in a lot of other countries, and there's so much to enjoy about Portugal. The best of which is the people. Come and meet the people and embrace this country.
Well said.
That's
Jerry.
all I wanted to say, Carl.
Well said. Thank you very much, Jerry. Yep, absolutely. The people. Gilda taking that. Astrid, did you want to add something?
I think you've covered it. We've got the pet care one next week, so you've already discussed that, and of course the dream team again next Thursday at 9 o'clock. So we're all covered.
Thank you very much, Astrid and Jerry. So I'll share a few of these compliments here and round off with this. Thank you, everyone, says Tom. Thanks, everyone. Great show as usual, says LaRonda. Thank you for being here, Mariana, to everybody, to our audience tonight. And Connie, good evening to you, Connie, host of, along with your sidekick, Hank, Conk and Honey. Thank you for all the information, all the ever-changing info. It's a pleasure, Connie. Thank you for hosting the social as you did last weekend. Boa noite, obrigado a todos from Shiva. And for you, Jerry, beautiful words. You are correct, Jerry, says Connie. And Taisa says, we can't wait to get there. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much to everyone from Camilla at Winsurance as well. I love you all from Gilda. You can say that yourself, Gilda. If you want to say the last word on the webinar this evening, I'm going to say congratulations, just like Diana mentioned in that anecdote. Last word to you, Gilda, Queen of the Visas.
See you in Portugal.
Yeah, very good.
Yes, so Jerry's catchphrase there. Brilliant. Thanks, everybody. Take care and bye for now.